Hi, I'm Sharbana and I'm here to introduce you to the field of urban and regional planning. I have been in this field in research as well as employment in the last 8 years, and today I'm here to tell you what are the opportunities, how to get in, and where is the demand in this field, at least in the near future. So, what is spatial planning? Spatial planning is necessary to design cities, settlements, regions. That can be something as simple as a group of cities or a district or even a state. And what we do is we try to develop cities or regions to encourage sustainable growth, to encourage coexisting with all our natural resources and a natural environment. And within human settlements, urban planning helps us to plan for living, work, play, and social interaction. So, as you can see, it is a very vast field. So, in this, when we go for a specialization, we have a lot of fields in which you can specifically go for. For example, we have urban planning. In urban planning, what we do is we plan for the city itself. It can be old cities, existing settlements, or maybe proposing for a new city. Then we have regional planning. In regional planning, we have cities, a group of cities, a district, or as I said, maybe even a state. After that, we have transportation planning. In transportation planning, what we are basically doing is we are planning for perfect commute and connectivity between areas. It can be roads, it can be ease of movement. If we require to create new highways, all of that would come under transportation planning. Next, we have is housing. As we know, housing is something that everybody is entitled to. But because of social and economic inequalities, a lot of times it moves from so the higher classes would have more access while the lower classes may not. So arriving at an equitable housing or planning for it is what we call housing discipline. Next we have environmental planning. In environmental planning, what we are trying to do is we are planning for human development, but at the same time keeping in mind the importance of the environment. It can be something as environment impact assessment when we go for industry or when we go for any kind of mining development, all of this, or even within existing cities, if you want to upgrade the health infrastructure, you may require an environmental planner. Next, we have is tourism planning. So, be it an existing tourist facility that we already have, maybe we want to upgrade it, maybe we want to connect it to the closest airport, or we want to connect it to the closest city, or we want to create a new tourism potential. All of this goes under tourism planning. Then we have infrastructure planning. So, no settlement can exist without, again, roads, sewerage, fire, all of this, the fire system that is, all of that. So, what we do is plan for all of these infrastructure, maybe upgradation or a new one. And then we have real estate. Real estate is when we try to understand how the price or the potential of a land can be valued or utilized to its highest potential. So for that we need to understand the people who are living there, may live there, and what we have around it as amenities, infrastructure, all of this is a holistic discipline. So when we see all of these disciplines, they require a lot of expertise. It is not simply an architect who has to design the buildings. There is not only an economics potential, there is geography, there is civil engineering, there is law. All of this comes together. So when we discuss about the opportunities, we'll come to who are eligible for a discipline. But why do we have urban and spatial planning as disciplines now? Where is the demand? So at present, the government in India, also around the world, but if right now we specifically focus on India, the government is trying to create new cities, upgrade towns, such that employment can be driven up further, development can be driven up further. And so for all of that, and upgradation of the old cities which have the decaying infrastructure, all of this is now becoming the need of the hour. And building a city is not an easy task. And because of this, the government has created certain development initiatives like Swachh Bharat Mission, like Amrut, Jerenivaram to name a few. So all of these require planners at every tier, at every step of the government. So, which brings us to opportunities. In opportunities, we have the government, where you have your town planning department, where you can seek employment. Then you have consultancies. In consultancies, you can either have real estate or infrastructure. In real estate, you have JLL, CBRE, all of this big ones. And then when you have the infrastructure one, where you have Deloitte, Ernst& Young, all of them to name a few. Then what you have is NGOs. NGOs such as Satwa, they focus on getting planners to understand where the gap is for people to get amenities, facilities, or infrastructure and bridging that gap. For that research, they need planners. And finally, think tanks, research and academia. So there are think tanks like Azim Premji University or we have Janagraha. All of them, they require planners to also help them prepare the development reports or the proposals so that the government can use that and create the development strategy. So, how does one get into this discipline? So, as I said before, you are eligible if you're an architect, a civil engineer, a law expert, geographer, economist, to name a few. So, you have at undergraduate level where you directly get into B plan, for which you need to take physics, chemistry, and math at your basic level. When you come to post graduation, if you are from any of the fields that have been mentioned before, you may have to give either have to appear for the examination of GATE or NEET with a valid score, and you have to go for a basic interview and finally get in. It is a very exciting field, a lot of promise, and very rewarding. So, all the best. With me, a mentor, I hope you get the right coaching and hope that this is the discipline that's best for you. So, all the best.